Panama City Beach, where you can be you. Along
Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing this beautiful Friday morning? Hope you're all doing well. I myself am doing good this morning. It's always a plus. Any day above ground is a good day. Let me get this water stopped and get right into it. Turn off the browser. Turn this on. Blah, 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 blah. Turn on this. All right, so in my pocket last night, by the way, before I do that, good morning, Mr. Robin, and Mr. Drummer. Hope you gentlemen are doing well this morning. And Mr. TC. Thank y'all for being here bright and early. I appreciate it. So I got in a few knives in the mail yesterday. And they might quite possibly be the most technically accurate clones ever made. They are the Lemifshi Mini FSDs. And this one has the Wilson Combat milling, which I love. And I got this one because I didn't have one in this pattern. I didn't like the pattern, but it's definitely growing on me now. I might take it back to plain tie. But these knives both have some really cool features on the inside I want to show you. Both came perfectly tuned out the box. Couldn't ask for any better action. They both just perfectly drop shut. The detent on this one is stronger, so we're going to get in there and adjust it. Something cool that Lemifshi did with his is he included the 1.3 millimeter hex bit with the knife to adjust the pins. He also did the pins correctly on these. He did them like they're supposed to be done in the blade. And the quality, the craftsmanship just looks awesome on these. I'm actually shocked at how good of a job he did. The holes on the first round of Cortexes with the adjustable detent, they weren't as precise as these holes. They were a little sloppy. Now they've got it down after doing a couple. Let me show it to you here. I've got to measure these bearings for someone too. But as you can see, the adjustment pins are pretty much perfect. They got them press fit in there really good. It's got a perfect blade ramp right in the middle of the line. So the adjustment pins are just like they're supposed to be. Solid. Comes with those caged bearings. Fully caged on both sides. And then the coolest part about this knife, and what I've not seen before, it kind of tripped me out actually, and you can't see it unless you take off the lock bar, but I'm guessing on the originals they had this feature, so he added it to this one. I'm not sure if it solves a purpose. I mean, I know it solves a purpose. So you don't want this lock bar to hang up against the scale when you're pushing it. And so what they did is they put these three little balls, and I got chocolate on my finger. Excuse me. They put these little things that look like pogo pins almost, but they're like 3 detent balls on the side of the lock bar. And those ride against the inside of the milling there for the pocket so that it can't get hung up on that. I don't know if y'all, I'm pretty sure y'all can see those little balls they added. But that little touch is pretty complicated to add, and they did it. Yes, it was very interesting. They also put little captive places on these threaded things that fit into here to keep them from possibly turning. So that's super cool. I do want to try to adjust the detent. And when I was first looking at these adjustable pins, I couldn't quite figure out how a pin on this blade could affect the detent of the knife, because the way I've always added more detent pressure is by adding more lock bar pressure. And so I couldn't really understand how a pin on the blade could affect the lock bar pressure. And then I realized eventually that basically the 2 pins stop the blade in its rotation. And so if you've got a little bit of wiggle with the lock, then you can adjust that pin to where it lets the blade move that way. And when it's fully closed, that is the other adjustment. So basically all you're doing to adjust the detent on this is to move the ball from directly in the middle of this hole, from directly in the middle of this hole right here, to where it's offset a little bit and it's not seated fully into the hole. So when they call it adjustable detent, by adjusting this pin, you're really not adjusting the detent, you're just adjusting where the ball lines up on the hole on the blade. So instead of fitting fully down in the hole, you're going to adjust it just a tiny bit, and it's going to move that ball to where it doesn't seat in there fully. It's kind of just right on the edge of it. So that's what these 2 pins do. One of them stops it when it's locked up, and the other one stops it when it's closed, on how it interfaces, how the detent ball interfaces with the hole. So this is supposed to be the detent pin. This is the Brown Knives Mini FSD. That's what both of these are. Justin. Good morning, by the way, Mr. Justin. So, I believe on their website, I don't want to get this wrong, so let's go look at it really quick. Brown Knives adjustment. So they have a page on their website called resources. When you go there, it shows you, see, the holes in the blade on the original are not press fit as good as this one is. They cut kind of holes that they can push these pins into, but they're not perfect fit. So I would beg to say these are better, a closer fit, but they're still not good. So the first versions had the pins kind of like that, as opposed to now they've got them to where they're literally press fit into perfect holes and cannot move. So that's super cool. It's possibly the best quality clone I've seen as far as all around build quality. So this is the let's see. Why is he showing? two different ones. What am I looking at here? They're backwards. That's cool. And they're opposite. Huh. Alright. Well, I know from messing with the other FSD which one is which. And I don't think it matters which direction you go on the detent one, because it's going to either move the ball further into the blade or further out. But I want to move it out so that the blade doesn't hit the backspacer. So I know it's this pin. All right, let's try. What does it say on the picture for the detent one? I'm just going to go by what it says. Clockwise will decrease detent strength. Counterclockwise will increase strength. So clockwise will decrease it. I want to decrease it. So I'm going to go with almost a quarter turn clockwise. All right. And we will see if that fixes the detent I was having. It had very strong detent, and usually I like very strong detent, but it's almost a little too strong. So I'm going to attempt to adjust it that way, and if we need to go the other direction, we can do that. There's only 2 screws to take these knives apart, so it's pretty awesome. Pivot and 1 screw. So working on them is a breeze. I don't know what FSD stands for. No idea, sir. Ashton, that's awesome. What is going on with that? Oh, it's just a long screw. All right. Didn't change the lockup, but the detent does feel lighter. I could really tell with the front flipper, yeah. Did you get these same 2 models, Ashton? I really like this Wilson Combat one. Justin, these are available on AliExpress. They are called the Lemifshi Mini FSD. Yeah, that feels a lot better. What did I do with the... All right. What does FSD stand for? I do not know, but let's look it up. Hopefully AI will be able to answer it. Folding spear point drop. Mini FSD or FSDF. Folding spear point drop. I don't know if that's right, but I would guess so. And that would have been hard to answer by going to any of these websites. So I'm glad that the AI figured it out somehow. Okay, yeah, that's why I'm saying I don't know if I trust it or not. Folding spear point drop. Huh. And you got full size? Yeah, I don't think it would be full size if you wouldn't make one that's called a mini full size. You would just make it a MSD if it was a, instead of FSD, mini size. Let me ask it how it knows. Let me see if this works. Let me see if this works. How do you know that the FSD in the Brown Knives FSD stands for folding spear point drop? Now it changed it to full self-driving. The name given by the maker, Craig Brown, in reference to the Tesla Incorporated autonomous driving feature. The knife was named as a nod to the creator's interest, and the name has been mentioned in several unboxing and review videos. The knife itself features a drop point blade, which refers to a blade shape, but this is a description of the blade's profile, not the meaning of the acronym. I would almost believe that. Good morning, Tommy. It says the name has been mentioned in several unboxing and review videos, so that's what makes me almost think this is true, but full self-driving would be a cool name for a blade that drops shut really easy. Don't know though. If he really is into Teslas, maybe that's so. I don't know. We'll have to do some more research. I'm wondering if like this video is one of the ones that Tri-State did where he mentioned what it stood for. How old? This is only 1 year ago though, so it's probably some of the earlier videos. All right, and then yesterday I got a knife that I'm going to do something special with. I ordered it because we watched a video a few weeks ago that who was it? Peterbilt Knife Guy made with the with D2 blade steel, and he was talking about how people talk trash about it, but it was really great blade steel. And he had already cut a couple of nails with it. He had done all kinds of stuff. And nothing, and then he showed how flexible it was and couldn't break the tip off of it. Anyway, yeah, that last answer did sound reasonable to me too, Ashton. Especially if he's an aerospace engineer. So the knife I picked up is the same one he was testing, and that is this one. Super cool deal on a fixed blade. But I'm going to take this knife and I'm going to shoot some videos of me trying to chip the blade and break this D2 blade. And we're going to put it to hard use video because I want to put out a video like that. So I'm going to do some batoning and cutting of nails and other things with this D2 blade and see if I get the same results he got. But this is the Brother, it's released under the Brother F017 number, and it is a big boy. My hands are big and it fits in my hands easily. It's probably got a 4-inch blade if I was to guess. I don't actually remember. But let's see here. Oh, no, it's 4.5-inch blade. So, yes, it is a big boy, 4.5-inch blade. Very comfortable. The ergos on this thing are awesome, too. Like, it's super nicely rounded out. I like that liner. So, we're going to beat this knife up and try to break it. Let me see if I can... Oh, let me give the link to whoever asked. Justin asked for that. So the way to find these knives I have on the table is to go to AliExpress and type in LEMIFSHE MINI and FSD. And they will pop up right here. So quite a few of the versions are sold out currently. Actually, the blue one with the peanut butter with the peanut milling is the only one sold out. They still have the Tesseract and the Sagaya, and the Wilson Combat is still available. But some of the 154 CM that they just released on the Cedar tested at 62 HRC. So that's pretty awesome to see. But here's the link. But if you want to find it yourself, you can type those phrases in. But if you want the link, here's the link. All right, now the video with Peterbilt Knife Guy. Was not that long ago. I don't think it was that long ago, but let's just type in D2 here. Here it is right here. So this is the video we watched. Let me make sure we got audio. We do. All right.
So this is the Brother knife sold under Watchman, F017 and D2 tool steel. This knife has been pounded through 2 nails, a penny, a bottle cap, and a piece of copper. It keeps coming back for more. But people still think D2 is weak and want to know how good it flexes. So let's find out. And still dead straight. I'm not trying to promote this knife, but D2 is definitely underrated.
So,
Welcome
whoops.
to the Crime Analyzer channel.
Hey, what about all these guys catching predators nowadays? Man, there's like 8,000 of those. Yeah, Ashton, that is funny. Yeah, it's super easy to take to anodize a knife blue. Ashton, anybody that wants a blue one, just buy a plain Jane one and ano it yourself. You can do it with three 9-volt batteries and some wire and some baking soda. "27 volts should give you a nice blue color with 3 9-volt batteries. Yeah, 27 volts should give you a color like, it actually looks better than that. That's the bright version. 27 should look, well, you can't see it up there, but there's 27 volts at the top. And there it is with the light on it more. There's in the dark. Yeah. 27 volt. All right. Got a bunch of new knives to look at this morning. Yeah, they're super awesome, Tommy. You need to go back and watch the little part of the video where I took it apart and showed the little... I've got a picture of it. Never mind. It's on the Discord. Let me show you. On the edge of the lock bar, they even put 3 little detent ball. They remind me of pogo pins. Y'all probably don't know what pogo pins are. Some of you might. But pogo pins are for when you add like a mod chip on like an Xbox or something. They make these little pins that are spring actuated that actually push onto the circuit board at certain points to make connections. But these kind of remind me of pogo pins. But they put a line, they milled a pocket for this little thing and then stuck this on the side of the lock bar, and there's the 2 adjustment pins. And the full breakdown I did post too, but you can see those 3 pins on the side of the lock bar right there in the middle. Super nice job on this though. Like even the back, the milling on the back of the clip there is a nice touch. But those pins fit perfectly. Like I'm super impressed with the quality of that. And the track they ride in is this. So that little set screw just sticks out a little grub screw that hits the back wall of this on both ends. So as this thing swings around and through here, one of them on this flat side hits right here, and one of them on this flat side hits right here, and that's what stops it when it's locked open and when it's fully closed. So like I was saying about the detent, you're not really making more detent, you're just adjusting how much goes into the hole. Good morning, Michael. So yeah, I'm super impressed. I told y'all 2026 was going to be a pretty crazy year for the clone knives. All right, we got our first new knife of the day, the new Tempest Tornado is for sale. Let's check out the purple one first. What do y'all think of the Tornado? I like how it's got the corner cut out like I was talking about, where the flipper tab doesn't stick out. It fits into that little corner up there. I think it cleans up the ergos on the knife. That one goes straight with the scales. I don't mind a flipper tab like that at all, because when that swings around to the other side, it lines up flat. So it doesn't stick out because it was in this notch. So it makes for a super clean knife. I bet this knife is super comfortable. That forward choil looks very nice. Same blade steel as the ones on the table, 154 cm. Let's see. So that was the first one of today. I think that's a decent price. I want to see the plain one. Oh, they don't have a plain one. Oh, that's the plain one. The plain one has a black blade. Nocturnal version, the night version. That would be the one I got if I got one. I like the color they chose to make the pivot and the clip insert and the hardware. Yeah, I like it. All right, the second new knife today is one we looked at, I think, last week or the week before. It's that switch with the Snex type lock. And that's pretty clean looking too. I'm not sure how heavy it would be, but I guess that's why they did a skeletonized version, because of how heavy brass is. I like those little screws they use too. They're almost decorative. They've got really small walls on the side of them. Pretty cool little thing. And then there's an exclusive version of the Tornado on TPK with the 80s camo carbon, in case you're one of those guys that has 20 knives with that same pattern. Oh, there is a satin one? I didn't even see that. Let's go back real quick. See more? View all. Duh. Yeah, so there's the plain one. That looks like a Kubey color package. It's crazy how that makes the knife look more Kubey to me than the other versions. The other versions don't look nearly as Kubey as that one does. That's pretty wild. I guess because that's always their go-to with the plain is the blue hardware. Seems to be. It's a nice finish on that though. I just wish the hardware was plain too. That's easily enough done. Brass is heavy. All right. Then we got TRM releasing a lizard skin handle Atom and Neutron 2. Both these are the two versions. Man, if I had the money, I would buy both of these right now in this pattern if I was the type of person to pay full price for a knife. Unfortunately, I've trained myself to wait a couple months and not have to have them so quickly, and I can get a better deal. So hopefully the fact that they've released some more of these will mean there'll be more for sale here in a couple of months. But I would love to have both of those. I just don't feel like they're worth that. They're not worth that to me. They are probably worth that. Yeah, it'd be easy to wink those. It'd be easy to wink the hardware or multi-etch the hardware and make it plain tie anyway. And then the next one is the 80s camo carbon F5.5. I did sell my 5.5 last week that I had available. Forget who I sold it to, but these are $2.99 new. And that's how much the one I got was new. It's a great knife. It's just a little too small for me. Looks like they have a polished black and polished Zerk. Well, that's pretty nice. For $349. I like the way that looks. That's got a real nice look to it. I don't hate on that at all. Cool picture too. Yeah, y'all smash that like button for me and help out the algorithm. Y'all been doing great, and I appreciate it. Just a little reminder. Yeah, that's super nice. More knives should come looking like that. That just looks usable. Looks like they got the purple flow too. I didn't notice that. Oh, that's coming soon, I guess. Or it just happened. You never know with Urban EDC. Their website is atrocious. But this is the newest version, I believe. Could be wrong on that. And that's the one Mr. Drummer got. Alright. And then water spout version. Huh. Yeah, so brass, TRM, Urban EDC. Oh yeah, EMP EDC released a plain version of the Relative. It came out with another batch. They also got the black and bronze and the blackout. Quantity 1 sold out. So they're sold out of the 2 black ones, which is fine with me. Actually, the 3, there's another black one. Cool knife. Alright. I got a black and brass version of the Ace Rio. I think we saw that last week. Coming in the coming soon section. Another Sever 7 knife. Speaking of a Sever 7 knife, I almost bought one last night, but I refrained because the price was just a little more than I thought it was worth. But it was an Unkovsky, and it's a nice one. Let's see, the second half of the video is it. So there it is right there. Hold on. It's got the hole in it instead of the thumb studs. It's got the right blade shape for me. It's got a little bit of color to it with the liners being blue or blurple. It's got good action. So I nearly bought that knife. I wonder if it's sold yet. I gave him an offer, but he said he was going to hold out. He's got it for $550. Somebody bought it 12 minutes ago. I did send the link to Sever 7. But yeah, I like that version a lot. I've got that bottom knife, the Golden Design Works Standard. I've got one of those. So it would have been fitting to get the other one. I like that standard too. It's very comfortable with that forward choil. And that's kind of what you sacrifice with making the perfect forward choil like that. Is the front of your knife is going to look like that, you know? But I've talked about my knife design will probably have that curve in the scale to match the curve of the choil. But I don't know how much of the scale I want to curve like that because it throws off the look of the scale. I don't know. I like it, but then when I look at it, and that was just a little too plain everywhere else. Just a little too square and round, you know. But, nice knife. Alright, so we saw the Sever 7 knife, which is this one. Demco has got a 20 CV Nano Shark and Arctic Storm. Won't spend too much time on that one. Purple Curly Mango model. Hey, this is a new version. Oh, that's a pretty one. That looks better than the wood ones we've been seeing. Well, I mean, it is wood, but plain wood. That one has that choil also, with the handle cut out the same way. That one has a little bit. Oh, good morning, Bill. Sorry to hear you're not feeling well. Good morning, Waylon. Yeah, I hope you get to feeling better, Mr. Bill. I like the handle on this one better than the standard because the standard was just plain looking. This one at least has some curves to it. All right, then we got the Gen 2 button lock. Frame lock and button lock. That's that one with the big oval hole. I drew one on a knife like that. I've got a picture of it somewhere. I thought it looked funny then, and I still think it looks funny now. I think that long, skinny oval. How much? What's the total cost? I will contact you for a final price and details. Balance is due before the knife is shipped. Wait a minute. You can't just come up with a random number. I guess if you're going to buy one of those, you know it's going to be $1,000 or something. Bill, yeah, the first versions of the Proteans had a sharp lock bar access. I can't wait to beat up this knife, though, and cut some nails with it, cut a penny. He said he cut a penny with it, so I really want to put this D2 to the test to settle it for myself once and for all, on whether I like it or not. But yeah, the first versions of the Proteans had a sharp lock bar. But depending on what color you get, I'm sure you could just round it over a little bit and fix that pretty easily without it being very noticeable. Good morning, Puck Elf. I've got both generations of the Proteans, I believe. I don't remember which is which, but I've got a bunch of them. I've got 6 of them here. Whoops. I don't remember which ones are version Gen 1 and which ones are Gen 2. So, I think you're right. I think this might be a Gen 1. And this one doesn't feel sharp. That's one of the main things people said about these. The action is not drop shut, but that's okay too. Oh, yeah, they're offset. So the gap is bigger on one side than the other because they milled the little spacers. Instead of using washers like a lot of companies do, they put those little things built into the scales, and they made one side a little bit bigger. I don't know if you can see the left side is a little bit bigger than the right. I forgot about the back spacer. So they're not perfectly symmetrical, which doesn't bother me much. It's barely any different. And if you look at it from certain angles, it looks the same. You look at it like that, pretty much looks the same. But yeah, the gap on this side is bigger than the gap on this side, and it's because they didn't use washers there. They tried to mill it into the scales, and they got it off by like, 0.1 of a millimeter or something. And I think the new ones, I don't remember which is which, but one of these is the new one. So I think this one is the new one. It looks like it's got more even gaps. And this one is the Gen 1. I don't know. I can check because of the one of them's Warncliffe. I can tell you which one is which. Actually, these might be both the same. These are both new ones. That's what I did. I bought a plain Jane of both the new ones because I wanted to get rid of some of these first gen ones. So these are both Gen 2. That's what I did. I decided to get a couple of the Gen 2s that I like, just plain Jane, and get rid of some of those. I think the only other one I'm going to keep besides those two is the Skelly, because I can't keep them all. I love this milling pattern, and I love this milling pattern. And he had a darker plain Jane to start with, but I think all three of these are for sale if anybody wants one. I'm going to keep these three and sell these three. That sounds good to me. It's a smaller knife. It's smaller than you would think. It is. Hold on just a second. Proteans are less than 7 1/4 inches total length, but I can get my 4 fingers on it easily because of the way they made this continuation all the way from up there. So it feels comfortable even in bigger hands, but it is a smaller knife. Blade length on it is right at 3 1/4 maybe, with a 3-inch cutting edge. These new ones make an awesome ting. These are the ones I showed that make I don't know if you can hear that, but they make an awesome sound. I can't remember which one makes a better sound, but one of them does. I think that one sounds better. All right, let me put this to the side. Tomorrow is day 365. Cannot believe we made it. Oh yeah, I had this knife in there too, because I don't have a place for my Tempest knives. But that's pretty ironic that the first knife we looked at today is the only one I just pulled out of that case. I pulled it out because it was laying next to all the Proteans, and I didn't want it to throw off people looking at the Proteans, but I forgot I pulled it out of the case. It's supposed to go next to the Proteans. It doesn't have a home, and so I know if I put it in here, I'll at least know where it is. Someone mentioned this morning that that a lot of times when people work on knives with holes in them, they make the holes first to make sure they line up. But in reality, either way I did this inlay, if I did the holes first, then I would have to keep adjusting where I take off metal until I get it exactly right to line up right. But my solution is just going to be to use this as a template and attach it. And I can take a tiny drill bit, and I'm pretty good at finding the center of a circle. So I'm just going to take a tiny, tiny drill bit on this one to find the exact center and hope for the best. And on this one, I'm going to just match the hole exactly in my drill press so that I get it lined up perfect. But I don't think I'm going to have a problem. I did work on these some more yesterday and got them rounded off about as much as I'm going to do. They're pretty smooth all the way around now, and they kind of contour. So now I've got to bead blast them to get them to look more like the Mini does. I'm going to bead blast them, and they'll turn that kind of grayish color. But I didn't do much more than just round over all these edges yesterday. And I just did that by hand with this piece of 150 sandpaper. I just sat there with my hand and just kept rubbing it along the edges and round it over. So anyway, got to finish working on that. All right. Back to where we were. If anybody new popped in, you hadn't smashed that like button, I invite you to please do so. Good morning to anybody new watching. Tomorrow, we are going to be celebrating our 1-year anniversary and going to be doing a huge giveaway tomorrow. When I say huge, I just mean 4 or 5 knives. I don't mean like 20. Man, I like a lot of these knives. There's a pry bar. Not really a pry bar, but I don't have an optical center punch, but I do have a punch. One is members only, TC. I've got 2 giveaways. I've got 2 piles of 4 or 5 knives over here. One is for the subscribers and one is for members only. I've said that a few times leading up to this, but I guess you had forgotten or didn't hear me, or... Man, these knives are so great. The only thing these knives needed, and there was a reason I took this one apart earlier, and that's because I've already fixed this one to be my knife, which means I have applied a little bit of blue Loctite to the pivot because they're so fidgety that you'll want to sit here and do this 1,000 times, and when you do that, it eventually loosens the pivot a little bit. I don't mind having to add a little bit of blue Loctite to certain knives. I've never been able to not get one apart that I added a little bit to. But this one has had that done to it. Oh, thank you, Mr. Cal. Now he's a member for the members only giveaway. That's a good time to do it. Yeah, if you want to be entered for the members giveaway, you can become a member for a day. Actually, you can't do it for a day. Oh, it's all good, Cal. I appreciate you, though. All right. That's funny, that pry bar, though. It's actually just like a chisel tip. Not a chisel grind, but a chisel tip. Oh, he even calls it a chisel tip. Tonto design. Somebody thought, I guess Sever was showing a knife that kind of had that going on, and I said something about chisel, and he said, no, it's not a chisel grind. And I wasn't meaning a chisel grind, I was meaning a chisel tip. There's a pry bar for $50. So these are 700, 1,000 with Damasteel. So these will probably be total, like this one, it says pre-order. Oh, now it says 700. I swear when we looked earlier, it said $100 for the pre-order. Oh, it was on this one. Okay, so at least we do have a price on the other one, so it'll be around 700 total. All right. Double detent. I didn't see that one. Where's the oh, here's the double detent. So there is no middle stop, so this knife can be flicked. It may look like a frame lock, but it's actually a double detent. Okay, so that's not a lock bar. You can close it. It doesn't have a lock. It'll open and close by just pushing on it. Because that never leaves the blade. Well, no, that's... Yeah, it doesn't go behind the blade at all. So there's no lock there. You're able to just push on that and close it like any double detent knife. That's interesting. I like that. Morning, Mitchell. Bill Doyle, I'm not sure if you're a member or not. I don't think so because your name is not a different color. Aren't members' names different color? I don't know. Y'all have to answer that for me. All right. Sonora's for 800. Hey, that looks just like the one I just sold. Except for the milling pattern is a little different. Built to carry, made to use. All right. Dharma Auto. That's that little auto. Looks like he's got one of those left. Because he made it puke green. Baby diaper green. All right. Gavco multiple customs. Of course. Some of them are way bigger than others. But man, that handle is skinny. I like the one on the far left the best, probably. I don't know, this second one with the holes in it Pretty nice too. I think that's the same as that one, maybe same model. That one has the holes, that one doesn't. That's a wild looking blade window. I like how he did different blade windows on all of them. Thank you, Mr. TC. Good morning, Mr. Pete. You know the next step up from a girl with the oversized clit is, don't you? See if y'all know what that quote is. I know that's probably not appropriate to say, but I said it. It's a movie quote. Y'all will get it. Let's see if we can find that quote. Will I be flagged if I play that much of a clip? I doubt it. If I am, I can delete it afterwards. Clerks, oversized. All right.
Avert your eyes, you perv.
It's not very hygienic. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
Emma, are you like this because you have an unnaturally large clit?
You just had to tell him, didn't you?
It kind of came out one day.
He says it's so big it's almost like a little cock, which says all kinds of weird things about him that I don't even want to think about.
You wouldn't want to be with a girl with an oversized clit.
No, because the next stop is a guy with an undersized dick.
All right, well, there we go. I'll have to remove that later. All right, back to the drop point. Little interlude. I'll get a little note saying somebody's claiming you played it. Do you want to remove it? Sure, go ahead and remove it. Uh-oh. What is this warning? Oh, wow. I got a warning, guys. Already. That didn't take long. Whoops. I hope it didn't affect y'all. Can y'all still hear me? Give me a 5x5 if we're still good to go. All right, the ST6 liner lock. Carl Colson knives. Boy, a lot of work went into that knife. Yeah, it popped up automatically in my little YouTube window down here. All right, thank you for that. I didn't think it stopped it, but it said avoid something. It gave me a warning message down here in the middle. Oh, it says it again. Heads up. Avoid restrictions on YouTube live streaming. Your channel's live streaming ability may be temporarily or permanently turned off for various reasons. Oh, wow. I thought you had to wait the first 10 minutes before you said a wordy dird. Yeah, I won't do it again. I had to push the boundaries on 1 year's Eve. But I don't want to lose my ability to live stream. That would suck. It's on YouTube, so if they don't want it on YouTube, they should probably get rid of it on YouTube. I'm glad I didn't play it from somewhere else, though. All right. Tomorrow, which is today, Finch Knife Company Snub Nose. I haven't used the word snub nose in a while talking about a revolver. Got a heck of a Bowie looking blade. Yeah, the fair use comes into play when you're playing other YouTube videos, so luckily that was on YouTube. All right, O'Brien blades, custom book spots available. Bixie starting at $250 and folders starting at $950 plus. Beautiful work there. I've done pretty good about pushing the boundaries this year. I will say that. I have not done much of that at all. I have not bought a Theory. I want to get a Beef, though. Oh, I have an arc form Theory. Before they sold, I forgot Flatanium bought arc form, and that's the same knife. So yes, I do have one of those, but I've got the arc form version. It's a cool knife. It was one of the first cool knives I bought. I bought it around the exact same time that I bought my Freeman Knives Voodoo, which also became sold as a Tuya Knives Voodoo. Here's my Flatanium Theory. No, I'm just kidding. I bought it about the same time I bought that too. Thought I'd pull that out. We don't look at that. We're talking about chisel grinds. But I bought all three of these knives if I can find them. I bought these two. And where is my Theory? Hold on a minute. Still looking. I don't think I sold it. I know I didn't sell that knife. I couldn't have. Where the heck is it? Still not seeing it. I know I thought about selling it at one point. Here it is. So yes, I've got an arc form Theory. I've got a slim foot too from arc form. But I bought these three knives around the same time. I was going through a thing where I wanted different thumb studs and weird blade shapes and blade holes. But yeah, it's a great knife. It's very comfortable. Got good action. You know, the jimping feels great up here. I think I got this knife for like 140 bucks. I think they were selling them for like 140 on the Arcform site before they sold out. Yeah, I might sell you that Slim Foot if you want to buy it, Mr. Bill. I believe it might have skiffs in it. I can definitely check for you. But I think I would probably sell this. I haven't had it very long. 2 or 3 months. I like this version better than the Tuya because it's got the Freeman Knives, the guy who designed its logo on it. But this is the same as the Tuya Voodoo. They OEM'd it for the guy, and then once he sold out, or the contract ran out, they started selling it. Same kind of deal with Bill. I don't know. I don't usually discuss prices on stream. I don't want people to pocket watch either one of us. Of course, they can look up what it's worth, but I don't know. Just hit me up. Somebody else messaged me. Yeah, I think it was you, Bill. Are you not on the Discord? I think it was Lou. Yeah, it was Lou. There's a Lou that comes in the chat that's different than the Lou that's on the Discord. And I had that confused. But either hit me up on Facebook. Yeah, I've still got that. Yeah, I remember you doing that, Pete. Me and you got ours around the same time. Man, these knives are so nice. Oh, yeah. So this reminds me, a guy I was talking to on Reddit last night had just got this knife in yesterday and was already selling it. And I was just curious why he was selling it. So I asked him, and his answer was he didn't like drop shut top liner lock knives because they bounce at the bottom. Unless you get it down to where you learn how to let go at the exact right time, the blade will bounce out. So see how it bounced? And a lot of guys don't like when their knives bounce like that. So I was curious if that bothered y'all. You can time it. You can get it down to where you learn kind of to swing it and let go of the button and it closes without bouncing. But if you just hold it, it does bounce. So top liner locks, I mean, I totally understand it with the bouncing part, but like I said, you can get it down like that to where you can, and it's kind of fun practicing how much you need to kind of close it to get it to land perfectly. And it's kind of like a game to me. It's like one of those little skill games where you push the basketball, the state fair. I mean, you push the bowling ball over that little curved hill, and you got to do it exactly right with the right amount of spin. But to me, that told me that the knife he was selling was probably a knife that I would love, and it'd be exactly like this one that just drops shut. But I practice learning the proper amount to close it. And when they have more detent on the lock bar, it makes it bounce less. This one I haven't got down exactly, but I'm pretty good on it too, about getting it to just close and not bounce. But a lot of times I'll let off too soon and this one doesn't close all the way. The thing I love about a good top liner lock with the proper tension is you can stop it anywhere down along the way and let off the button, and it'll stop the blade wherever you're at. And I like when knives are tuned to that point, but to each his own. I totally understand about the bounce. I don't like mine bouncing either, so I try to let off the button at the proper time to make it just close perfectly like that. And the more you get used to your knife, the easier you can do it. I think I just did it 6 or 7 times in a row, and then I messed up as soon as I started talking about it, and that one bounced out. Doesn't bother me too much, but it's just cool to see different people's reasons on why they like stuff and why they don't like stuff. Oh, good morning, Cliff. No worries. I'm just glad you're here. Yeah, I think having the Arcform logo on it is kind of cool. All right, back to the last couple of book spots. Mallory Designs H2O. Yeah, that's the one we looked at. Sever type of knife, too skinny for me in the handle. I love Dylan Mallory's work, but a little too skinny for me. But there is that knife if you're interested. I think it only comes in the carbon fiber too, but could be wrong on that. This is another knife that I've got to have, and I should just buy one today. I like the drop point better. I'm a drop point guy, but I like that compound grind. Man, if the Bee Blasted Tonto was available, I might buy it right now. But I really like the drop point better. I don't know. I might buy one of those today. How much is the Aeon? Because if it's available, it's sold out. If there was one of those available today, I would buy it. I still want that knife and the Titan. Titan Batch 2 pre-order. I want those two. And I like the Zero too, just because it's simple. I wish they had one of these Cypher or the D-Cypher in titanium. And I don't think they do. Yeah, those three. You might also like those three. Yeah, I like those three. Yeah, you can tune these knives. You can tune these to where you take out a lot of the lock bar pressure and it'll just drop on its own like right now. But that to me takes out way too much of the detent and it makes it sloppy feeling with the detent because the lock bar pressure is not enough to hold the detent in place. So I would prefer to have good detent and be able to stop it all the way down instead of it just continuing to fall. So I just use the correct amount of wrist and a little bit of flick and let off the button at the right time. Because you can get it to where it'll keep dropping all the way down, but that's because it doesn't have enough lock bar pressure to me. To each his own though. All right. What else we got here? Another knife I need to get. That one. Another chip kind of knife. I wish this knife had jimping up here and maybe extended just a little tad further. So that you could use it as a front flipper. All right, Crow and the Dark Waves Truffles 2.0. That's the hive mind. Where's the, yeah, here's the dark truffles. Yeah, did anybody pre-order one of those? The hive mind? I think TC might have. What's up with the copper penny looking pivot? I mean, I know that's the button, but it's different looking. All right. Well, that's all the folding knives. Oh, you got two of them? All right. Let's see what we got going on. Let me see if there's any super cool looking fixed blades. What is the Aaron Hall Gremlin? Bird and fish knife. Pretty cool size little knife. Bald Man Forager. It's a nice looking knife too. Different kind of fixed blade. The Scout. Okay, now that's got that. That looks a lot like the Overland knife that I've got right here. I mean, that looks a lot like that knife. Wow. Like the one that I've drawn on the back of it, but whoops, let me get this out of the way. Yeah, it looks a lot like that knife. It's got the finger grooves in the handle, but otherwise, very close. I like the Overland X better. Mainly because of this little flat part down here where you can pinch grip it. It comes down real thin here, and the TCal didn't have that. But those look a lot alike. But I like the Scout. I like the Overland X, so I guess I like this one. All right. Warlander Night Watch knives. Multiple customs. That looks a lot like the Brother fixed blade that I got. I was just showing y'all I was going to beat to death with the black and red, and it's even got the two. Well, this one doesn't have the back little curve for your finger quite as much. But you can see right here, this one has that front finger part, but those are very similar too. Pretty wild. Finding knives that are a lot, very similar. Pretty cool. I can't wait to beat this one up, though. The jimping's nice on this knife. Everything about this knife is built well. 4.5-inch blade. Super contoured, nice rounded handles. I don't know if y'all can see how nice those are. But this thing was $37. And full tang. It's got a nice place on the back here. Oh, you winked it, TC? That's cool. Proud of you. Nice job, buddy. So tomorrow, to enter the giveaway, at least for the subscribers, I won't do this for the members, but for the subscribers, you will probably have to do something on Instagram. I need to grow my Instagram. I posted a post this morning in Vero Knives. I posted about my inlay, and Vero commented on it. I tried to get him to collaborate with it, but at least he commented on it. But it'll probably have to do with commenting on a post on Instagram. I will let you know, starting off the episode tomorrow, how to enter. I will figure that out tonight. I might go ahead and post how to enter tonight on my Instagram, just so y'all can see how to enter. I won't do that for the members. The members will just get a drawing according to whoever is a member. Oh, like astronaut orange drink, like real deal. Real deal. Real deal metal, huh? I thought it was super cool for Lemifshi to include the 1.3 millimeter hex with these knives to adjust the pins. That's pretty cool. And it did take some detent out of this one when I turned that pin earlier. These things are great, though. Oh, thank you, Mr. Cliff. Welcome to the squad. Robin, have fun walking the dog, sir. While you're out there, walk the dinosaur. You know, everybody should walk the dinosaur. You don't have Instagram, Waylon? Cliff, this was a $37 fixed blade that I saw on a video from Peterbilt Knife Guy. It's made by the brand Brother. But right here, let me show you. The reason I bought it is because of this video right here. I showed it earlier in the stream, but I'll show it again here. So the reason I bought that knife is because of this video.
So this is the Brother knife sold under Watchman, F017 and D2 tool steel. This knife has been pounded through 2 nails, a penny, a bottle cap, and a piece of copper, and keeps coming back for more. But people still think D2 is weak and want to know how good it flexes. So let's find out. And still dead straight. I'm not trying to promote this knife, but D2 is definitely underrated.
All right, so now it makes me want to find the video where he cut the penny in half. Oh, here it is.
So I've got two identical steel nuts here, and yes, they're steel. Now we're gonna take this Brothers F017 and D2 and smash through. The first one we're gonna gently tap through, and the second one we're gonna smack as hard as we can and see if it makes a difference. No real noticeable difference. Not bad.
All right, where's the... Okay, here's the other one.
This is a chunk of gnarly eucalyptus, and this is that Brothers F017. This stuff's almost impossible to split.
Wow. You can see it bending. Back straight again.
People were questioning whether this was actual D2 steel. So I took the blade and wrapped it in a paper towel with some vinegar around it to see if it'll take a patina. So more than likely it is actually D2 tool steel.
All right, let's see. Where did he cut the penny? D2, yeah, here it is, going through.
All right, I've done a lot of stupid things with this knife. The Brothers F017, and so far it has come out on top pretty much with everything. But that ends today. This is a screw, and they're hardened. Let's find out what happens when we hammer it through this. And we're using the big boy hammer today. And for all the mouth breathers in the comment section that tell me this is not how you use a knife, no shit, Sherlock. My knife, do what I want with it.
I love that.
You know, honestly, for a hardened screw, I'm actually pretty damn impressed with that.
Yeah, I don't hate that either. All right, so that knife was 37 bucks. You type in on AliExpress, Brother 017 and knife, and it will not come up for you because that's not the number on it. It is actually the Brother F017. I thought it was, but I wasn't sure. So type in Brother F017 and knife, and it will come up. There are two versions, a black and a red and a blue. I got the black and red version. But you could get the red and the blue version if you want it. Here's the link to that knife. If anybody else wants to check it out like I'm going to, there you go. All right. Yeah, I like this thing. I like the size of it. 4.5-inch blade. Super nice contour. The liners are fit good. Fit and finish on it is excellent. Very comfortable. Nice jimping. Get you one, Cliff. That would be a good knife to have in Alaska. I could pretty much guarantee it. Yeah, I hate to be like that about the Instagram thing. Maybe I'll figure out how to do it just strictly YouTube only, since that's where y'all watch me at. I kind of feel bad. Everybody else does it, but y'all know me. I'm not like everybody else, and I want everybody to feel included, so Maybe I'll figure out something y'all can do. Make you comment on 3 videos or something on YouTube instead of going to Instagram. I don't know. I'll figure it out tonight while I'm at work. And I will post it in my YouTube posts and on my Instagram on how to enter. But yeah, guys, I think we're going to start winding this one down. By the way, tomorrow I'm going to pull out just about every front flipper knife that I have, and we're going to go through and see how I feel myself personally, how each one of them is and how easy it is to open. But one thing I did notice, I carried this knife most of the night until I swapped out to have one of these in my front pocket and one in the back pocket. And something I noticed, I am terrible. I told y'all this is probably the easiest front flipper I've ever used. And I am pretty much useless with my left hand. I cannot do anything hardly with my left hand, and I feel dangerous even trying to open this knife with my left hand. In fact, let me move these out of the way. Yeah, I can't even, I'm useless with, I can't even flip this knife with my left hand. I'm a righty, tried and true. But with this one and the front flipper, oh my God, I dropped it. I'm going to cut myself. I was able to front flip this one with my left hand pretty easily, which let me know that I was correct when saying that it was definitely the easiest front flipper I've ever used, because I am completely useless with my left hand. Once I do something for a few times, I can kind of get better with it, but I can't write anything left-handed. I did notice something weird that it took me all these years to realize. But when you unscrew something and you're right-handed, you hold the item with your right hand and you unscrew with your left hand. So think about that. Even though you're right-handed, you don't unscrew things with your right hand. At least most people don't. You want to grip it good with your right hand, and then you use your left to turn it off, which is something I had never really thought about until, I don't know, just a few years ago. It was just a weird, because I could grip it and turn it with my right, but I don't do that. I don't know, some people might, but I grab something with my right hand and I turn it with my left, because you can still turn with your right one. Some people hold it with the left and turn with the right. That's weird. It's weird how everybody's different. But I've always held, it's because I want to get a good grip on it, on the big part, I guess, with my right. Because I'll just hold this one still and still turn with my right. Okay, so I'm the weird one. That's cool. I'll be that. Well, good to hear that I'm the weird one. What's that, Mr. Pete? I hope it's not bad. Yeah, I kind of wish I would have. Yeah, I'm definitely, I think that's part of my Virgo, Pete. I constantly analyze everything. Like when I'm driving down the road and I see anything, like I see a ditch or a concrete thing, I try to analyze, like I'm constantly analyzing. So I think that's partly the Virgo. We're supposed to be very analytical, I guess. I don't really get into all that, but some of those traits do apply. I remember when I was young, when we'd be driving in the car. So y'all know those, when you have power lines running that are pretty high up above the interstate, sometimes they have those big round balls on them that kind of look like, well, I'll tell you what, they're just round balls that they put on the wires so that the wires stand out for like helicopters because they're kind of high. I know y'all have seen them before. You had to have. They're not as common, but you'll be out in the middle of nowhere and there'll be some high power wires and they have those round balls on them. Well, when I was a little kid, I must have thought that they looked like the little things that are on a pool rope that hold up the pool rope and keep it floating. So I thought that they were there, and I was probably 4 or 5 when I thought this, but I thought they were there so that in case it flooded, the wires would float. But my mind has always been like that, about just trying to analyze everything I see and figure out why it is the way it is. And I took psychology courses, you know, because, yeah, I drive myself crazy sometimes analyzing things. But I thought they were so the power wires wouldn't sink, so they would float like a pool, like the thing that runs across the middle of a pool. But I was probably 4 or 5, had to be. Well, Pete, I appreciate that. I try to look at things from different points of view, and I've never been a judgmental person because I'm a firm believer that I don't know if given the same situation that someone else was given, that I wouldn't have acted and responded the exact same way that they did, because I wasn't in that position or situation. So how can I know how I would react? But I try to think about that and be non-judgmental. And I've always been that, you know, I always used to get mad at my mother when she would look at my friends and how they looked to her, you know, told her everything she needed to know about who they were. And I just never have believed that. But as I grew older, I realized that how you look and present yourself is partially who you are. And you can get a little bit of a grasp on who someone is from how they act and look. But I still don't judge people for that, because I don't know what they've been through. And I don't know that if given the same situation, I wouldn't have turned out exactly like them. Good morning, Matt. Yeah, it's been great hanging out with y'all the last year also. Made some really good friendships. I appreciate all y'all. I wish more of y'all would hit me up, private chat, and talk to me sometime. I get bored at night, so if any of y'all are awake during the night, I'm always available. I sit at work every night, bored, so you can ask a lot of these guys. They'll get random messages in the middle of the night while they're sleeping and wake up to me saying something. So if any of y'all are ever awake and want to chat about knives or life or whatever, just hit me up. But yeah, guys, if I live through today, we've made it a year. Can't believe it. I think Sever 7 was on one of my first streams. I don't know that he was on the first, but he came around probably within the first week. Yeah, I like seeing new people come in. I want to give people, like, anybody that's got a white, that's not a moderator, and you've been here a while, I want you to be a moderator. So, Tommy, you're a moderator. I don't know why I haven't made you a moderator before. Let's see. Bill Doyle, I'll make you a moderator. You've been here long enough now. And Mr. Matt Conklin has been here enough that I feel like he should be a moderator as well. So let me moderate some people. If I've seen you enough to remember you and said hi to you a handful of times, I trust that you'll probably take care of the channel okay. Mr. Ashton, you're kind of new looking, so keep coming back and I'll mod you. Not that it matters, not that you care. Puck Elf, yeah, you've been around too, so let me add you as a moderator. All right, so Tommy, Puck Elf, Matt Conklin. Yeah, I don't think about the moderator thing. I don't care if everybody in here, they're all cool people, and the only reason I really give the standard moderator thing is so everybody can post links. Oh yeah, speaking of posting links, Mr. posted one earlier I didn't look at. So let's see what he thinks is funny.
You know, I just keep the basics on me. Yeah, I mean, phone, wallet, keys, that's like my everyday carry. Yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes multi-tool. If I'm feeling like it. You know, I'll throw in a flashlight in there. Sometimes you gotta be able to see, but for me, if I'm just popping outside, it's like tourniquet, pocket knife, glass breaker. Okay, you know how it is. But you know, I like to keep a field notebook and a tactical pen on me so that I can jot down ideas on how to optimize my EDC. You know, I mean, it's an EDC for an EDC. You don't? I do. But for me, you know, I'm more of an 18 feet of good rope on my carry at all times type of guy. That's my speed. 18 feet every day. Whenever I need to rappel. You too? Yeah, no, I do. But I also EDC a Glock.
The amount of moisture in this video, I don't
with the switch too.
enjoy.
Armor plates for me.
This,
Bladed
if I could sum this video up in one word, it would be moist.
Offense, defense. No, it is. Nah, I tend to keep some space for my telescope. How do you do that? You fit that on you. My pockets have pockets. You know, I get it. That's why I got the UAV on standby. Can't carry what you don't see, you know. I mean, I'm sure you do the same thing. EDC aerial reconnaissance makes sense. You know how that EDC life be. Sure do, but I tend to carry an entire library of heritage grains and seeds in Mylar bags so that I could, on a whim, like Noah's Ark, rebuild the entire food chain. So self-reliant of you. I'm sure you're way ahead, though. Sure am. I just try to EDC enough power banks and solar panels to identify as a fusion reactor, but you know how it is. Cool. You know, I was dropping my 3-year-old daughter at a birthday party the other day, and I said, thank God I got my EDC thermite on me, in case I need to breach and clear some steel doors over some cupcakes. But you get what I'm carrying. Smart saying, because I felt so safe rolling through the Taco Bell drive-through EDCing my javelin, fire and frigate, death from above, anti-armor warhead system. But surely you as well can carry this logic? And I pray every day that I turn into some kind of Batman, Inspector Gadget, walking keychain freak, so I can fulfill my role as a sacrificial droid who's one of society, because the one thing that says that to me for the first only, the more secure I am and masculine. Wait. What do you actually have in your pockets right now? Fidget toy and lip balm. You? A button and an almond.
All right, mister, I dig it. A little long, but I like it. Yeah, the moistness is a little much. Sweating bullets because they're both lying. Good morning, Nick. A button and an almond. Well, all right, fellas. Yeah, the moistness level in that video was supreme. Gotta find a home for these knives. All right, fellas, I really do appreciate y'all spending this last year with me. And tomorrow we will make it official. Full year of streaming in a row. Late one time, 5 minutes because of car trouble. Otherwise, I've been here through toothaches and back pain and lack of sleep. And it has never once felt like a chore. It has felt like fun and something I enjoy and never felt like work. So if you do something that never feels like work, you can probably keep on doing it forever. Okay, Knives Are Life. Thank you, Mr. Bob. Let's go back to something. All right. Now, where is the... Aha. Hadn't done this in a minute. Clones are life. Knives are life. Clones are life. Knives are life. Clones are life. Knives are life. The original intro will be what we end 364 with. Thank you for coming to this place, mister. YouTube provided the place. I just happened to want to hang out with some guys, so talk knives. So it worked out good for all of us. Yep. Knives are life and clones are life. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Thank you for a good year. See y'all tomorrow.